Let's get into some more Christmas carnage. Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about some more Christmas carnage in time for the holiday season. And today we're going to talk about the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. And this movie is called Silent Night. They dropped it Deadly Night. And this movie was released in 2012, had a budget of $5 million. It's rated R, it's an hour and 34 minutes long, and it was directed by Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller directed a lot of direct-to-DVD action films. He's still directing to this day. Matter of fact, recently he directed Stallone in Escape Plan 2, which went direct to VOD. In this film we have the great Malcolm McDowell as Sheriff Cooper, and we have Jamie King as Audrey. She's a deputy on this small-town police force. And this is actually the third 80s horror remake for Jamie King. She was in My Bloody Valentine 3D, Mother's Day, and this film. And the original Silent Night, Deadly Night is very infamous because it was controversial when it was released back in the 80s because of the nature. Parents did not like the image of Santa Claus killing people dressed as Santa Claus, so there was protests. It got yanked from theaters pretty quickly and kind of went off into VHS land because the studio didn't like the heat they were getting from the parents and all these protests and all this stuff that was going on. But the Silent Night, Deadly Night, although I enjoy watching it, especially around this time of year, matter of fact, this Friday, I'm going to watch it with a double feature of the original Black Christmas, which is the superior Christmas horror film. I enjoy watching that film, but it was always ripe for a remake, and they gave it a shot in 2012. And basically, this film doesn't show the kid, like in the first film, we showed this little boy going through this dramatic event, seeing his mom and dad, his mom get raped and killed, and his dad get killed in front of him, and then he goes off to live in this orphanage with his little brother. And Mother Superior there is very strict, and she's hard on this little boy. And when he gets older and they think he's well enough, they go out and get him a job. Just give me a quick recap of the original. They had the toy store has him dressed as Santa Claus at Christmas time, and he loses his shit and goes on a killing spree of people that are naughty, who he deems naughty. That's the first film. This film is similar, but they kind of drop some of that backstory. We do see it eventually during the film, but only in a brief scene that explains who's doing the killing and why. And at the beginning of this film, we see this gentleman tied up in his basement with Christmas lights, and he's tortured by the killer who's dressed like Santa Claus, although he has a clear mask on under the beard, so you can't really get a good look at his face. And he kills this guy basically by electrocuting him. And then we're introduced to Audrey, and this little town that she lives in is about to have this Santa convention that they have every year. It's a big deal in this town, and her father used to be the police chief in town, but now he's retired, and he's going to be one of the Santa Clauses in this thing. And this guy goes off and he starts killing other people, so the cops are trying to look to see who might be doing this, and they have a lead, and that doesn't work out. And this guy keeps killing people. I will say a lot of the kills are very graphic, very gory. Although I do have a problem with some of the directing when the kills happen. I'll get into that in a minute. And basically, I'm going to skip over some things. It's a very standard slasher film, which is nothing wrong with. I love a good standard slasher film. And it's very violent, very gory. The acting's pretty good, although Malcolm McDowell's character comes off as a overconfident douchebag, to say the least, in this film. I mean, Malcolm McDowell's always good, but that's what he comes off as, an overconfident douchebag as a sheriff. And basically, fast forward to the end of the film, we have our last battle at the police station where the killer shows up with a flamethrower in a really cool scene, burns Sheriff Cooper, and now Audrey is the only one left to fight this guy. She shows up at the police station, and they have it out, and we think she kills him at the end by setting him on fire with the flamethrower. Only he's not dead. We actually see him at the end, and we get a little backstory about this case her father was involved with when he was on the police force, where this guy had killed his wife, and he had a flamethrower. He burned her outside of this building, and her father showed up and shot him, and he lit himself on fire, and his son saw the whole thing happen from the truck, and his son is the killer during this film. So that is pretty much the twist of the film, and the killer gets away at the end, although badly scarred from the burning, but he lives at the end, and that's the end of Silent Night. Now, this film, like I said, is very gory, and there's some very inventive kills and some very fun kills during this film. And Jamie King and Malcolm McDowell are really good in the film, and so are the other actors. My one major problem with this film is the directing during a suspenseful scene or during a kill. A lot of direct-to-video directors like to shake the shit out of the camera when action is going on or something suspenseful, and this director does the exact same thing. The camera starts jarring back and forth and gets shaky, and it's totally unnecessary, and it does not create any tension. It doesn't make any suspense. It's just a cheap trick, and it's not a very good one. So it's always disappointing when a director resorts to that kind of shit. Other than that, the movie's okay. There's always something that felt off about this. I even watched it again last night. By the time it was in, I had to find enough time with it, but there's problems with it. And sometimes I can't just put my finger on this film. Just feels off. Like it could have been so much better. It does go a little over the top. The script's not the greatest. I think Malcolm McDowell and Jamie King helped keep this movie together, and some of the good special effects. There's some good makeup effects in this film, and they use real blood. So there's that. I think most of it my problems with it is mostly the script and some of the directing choices I'm not a big fan of. So I would give Silent Night a 5.75 out of 10. You can sit down and have a good enough time with it for a Christmas horror film. There's enough kills. I mean, once the kills start, which is right in the beginning, they pretty much go throughout the whole film. And there's a lot of carnage candy for sure. So on that level, you can have a good time. I just don't think this movie's it's not really that good, but it's okay. You can have a good enough time with it to check it out. So yeah, 5.75 out of 10 for Silent Night. Have you seen the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night? Leave a comment down below, let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this video, I greatly appreciate it. You all have a good day out there, and I'll be back soon with some more Canon reviews. Thanks, bye.